Graham from Paradise Nutrients. Today I want to present to you our premium stock minerals. The Paradise Nutrients premium stock minerals are not just any stock minerals. They're not made with chemicals. They're made from a combination of earth and minerals that have been broken down from plant matter or gone through a process in nature where the minerals are so fine that they become available to the animals very, very quickly. Of course, it suits cattle, sheep, goats, alpacas, pigs, a range of other animals can utilise these minerals. These minerals were set up many years ago, so when we made these minerals and developed these minerals, they were developed about 25 years ago. And we did that because we're on a property where we're looking to enhance the animal's nutritional uptake. The property where I developed these minerals, the nutritional levels were very run down. Like most Australian soils, our soils have been mined through animals eating over the years. They've been weathered with floods and droughts, etc. So the way to bypass trying to put heaps and heaps of minerals into the soil to rebuild it is to give minerals direct to the stock themselves. These stock minerals actually contain a biostimulant for the gut as well, so these natural bacteria and microbes in the gut that help to break down the minerals in the gut from fibre and from plants. The stimulants have been added to these ingredients to stimulate the gut flora and help more breakdown and more absorption of minerals and nutrients into the animal. There's other minerals that have been put in here, natural sulphur minerals, not chemical sulphur minerals in there that help to go out and help to keep parasites off the outside of the animal as well. So all this nutrition that you're putting into the animals creates a protective nutrient in the animal's hide or in the animal's skin itself. It also helps the animal hooves. The minerals in there help the strength of the hooves so you've not got feet problems. We've actually had farmers using these products for many years, and they're even finding that there's an increase in productivity. So an increase in fertility in those animals. And that's because we have a full broad spectrum of nutrients. And this is exactly what this product is a full broad spectrum of nutrient that helps the animal as nature intended. Now we're going to have a look at a video that I shot near a mine site that just shows the depth of soil, so we don't have a lot of topsoil. G'day, I'm here in central Queensland and I'm in an old disused coal mine. But what I'm actually doing here is to give you an example and show you just how little amount of topsoil that we are working with in the top of the Earth's surface. As you can see up here, we can see there's about ½ a metre of topsoil sitting on sedimentary rock. Years ago, the trees grew on top of the ground, sent their roots deep down into the subsoils and into the sedimentary rock, brought minerals to the surface and dropped them back out on top of the ground. And that's how our soils got remineralised. Of course, floods came across the floodplains and delivered some silt. But in general, our soils were formed and mineralised by the trees pushing their roots down into this subsoils, and as you can see further down in the mine there, sedimentary rock. And of course it brought it back up and dropped it on top of the ground. And that's made and remineralised our soils. And we can ask, where have all our minerals gone? And as we ask that question, we can understand why we need to remineralise our soils. However, in today's world, that's very expensive. And so the stock licks help to bypass that remineralisation of the plant by going direct into the animal itself. The products have been proven, as I said, for the last 25 years. And people continue to come back and buy these. People feeding sheep, people grazing sheep can put a bit out in a tub. These are not like a block, it's a powder. So as you can see, it's a powder product, very fine. You put it in a tub and the animals help themselves. When the animals start to take the product as a supplement, as a lick, they'll usually consume somewhere, cattle will consume about 70 grams a day and go back to about 30 to 20 grams a day. Sheep will start, they'll go from 30 back to about 10 grams a day. We've put this unique formula together to cover a whole range of deficient areas. So as we know, many of our soils are so deficient in nutrient, and the weather affects it, droughts and floods. So it's very, very important that we make a balanced, full balance of nutrition to cover a broad section of soils right across Australia. So cattle, when we're supplementing cattle with our stock lick, we put it out in a trough, and the cattle come up and they'll consume about 70 grams a day to start with, and they slowly back off as the minerals metabolise in the animal's body. And as it metabolises, the first signs you see is on the back of the neck, the colour starts to pick up, and then the coat gets shinier. We've seen this in the Paradise Nutrients horse minerals, where the animals become very, very shiny. And this product also has its own natural wormer in here. It has diatomite or diatomaceous earth in there. And the diatomaceous earth it's called anamorphous silica. And these silicas were formed in Great Lakes where little crustaceans actually died off, and the shells of them have all these very sharp little edges on them. And it doesn't hurt the animals or the cattle, but when it goes in, it'll prick the worm eggs and prick the worms, and they actually die off after they've been exposed to the natural bacteria in the animal's guts. So it's a broad spectrum product, does many things, and we also have another great nutrient in there, which is kelp. We have a kelp extract. It's very, very fluid, very liquid, and dissolves very easy. It's totally dissolved, and the animals do very well on this. So there's a whole broad spectrum of minerals in these minerals. If you're looking for your Paradise Nutrients premium stock minerals, go to your local agent and ask them to get it in for you. It's available in 1 tonne bags. It's available in these bags themselves, and we'll show you what the powder looks like in the bag. As you can see, it's a very fine powder. However, it doesn't really blow away in the wind or anything like that. When the product is out in the field, if it gets wet, it's not a problem. It will usually form a crust over the top, and it'll actually dry, or the animals will drink the water off it, and the crust that forms on the top will dry out, and the animals can keep licking it. However, it is advisable to put it under a cover out there in the field, out there in the paddocks, where the cattle can come to it, where the sheep can come to it, where the goats can come to it, or what other animals you're using. You can also use the stock licks as a feed supplement. So if you're actually feeding out animals, you can put it into a mix while you're mixing up through your mixer or through your chaff cutters, or whatever you're putting your feed through to mix it up. You can use it as a feed supplement. So you can add it to feed, you put it out as a dry lick, and it's just such a great broad spectrum product. It has a whole banquet of minerals and nutrients from some of the best minerals that have been mined here in Australia. And as I said before, these minerals are bioavailable. So outside of the food chain, they're some of the most available minerals on the market.